Today is the 27th day of August 2020 in Abaco, Bahamas. Today I have 1,144 friends, and I hope they are friends, on my Facebook page. I opened a can of worms the other day talking about Bahamians and Haitian Bahamians. I will address that later. But as I talk to my 1,144 Facebook friends, I just like to let you into the life of Kai Mills as leader and my leadership capability. Here on the island, when you take a stand, you sacrifice. When you have a good product, you sacrifice, because everybody try to destroy, break down, just because they seen you successful. I was such that person. There is a resort called Abaco towns ago, about 20 years ago, we call it Regattas. Today they call it Regattas, but back then it was started by Felix Sawyer. Came back from England and he put one of the best product in Marsh Harbor. Great Abaco Beach Hotel is a joke to what Abaco Towns by the Sea meant to Abaco and Abaconians. And I met this guy there. I did a program every Sunday. They did a program for all the tour operators to come and to sell their product, to let people know what they have to offer. I was the only Bahamian that was involved in this program, and the only black person of color. Everybody else was American and Canadians. Most of our guests came from Canada, because Abaco Towns by the Sea was started with Felix Sawyer with a bunch of Canadians. And they brought about 200 people every week to this time sharing, all greenhorns, eager to get on the water. You see, before I was a taxi driver, and while I was a taxi driver, my first love was boating. I got that from my father. That's the only thing I got from my father, is love of the water. And I dare anybody, all these captains that just popped up there, all of a sudden, I would take any of them on the water, from Little Harbor to Grand Turkey, in and out the reefs, and they'll get stuck. I've done that for 20 years, non-stop. But those of you that remember Treasure Key, as I try to tell my story of leadership real quickly, Treasure Key went into a downfall because the owner, Meissner, who was a German, decided not to accept American money. Just like the Prime Minister of this country decided to let every other country in besides American. That is and was a mistake. So Treasure Key went downwards. So Robert Meissner heard about Abaco Towns and bringing these people in. So he decided he wanted to get some of this cake, because Treasure Key, there's nobody there. And he heard me spoke. I speak very, how do I describe myself? I speak without fear or favor. This 25 years ago. And I did just a little speech, and I said, I am a 10th generation Abaconian. There's nobody here that knows the Abaco such as Kai Mills. I was born here. I was throwing a plug at the other Americans and Canadians that were competing against me. And I said, if you want to know the real Abaco, you go with somebody who was born and live here all their lives. I said, those of you that are religious, such as Kai Mills is, remember, God, the Lord God himself created the heavens and the earth. He took a break on the seventh day, and I, Kai, would like to take you to the place that the Lord God himself took a break on the seventh day. That place is called Treasure Key, Bahamas. And if the Lord God himself could relax on the beach in Treasure Key, you ought to come with me, and I will show you where the Lord went on the seventh day. Well, Robert Meister, never heard that before, and he crowded me. I didn't know who he was. The people had to tell me who he was. I said, oh, you know, you're trying to drum up business, but he want to get my ultimate attention. But I brushed him off because I was getting numbers. You try to get the family that has the 10, the 8, the 12 people, the more the numbers, the more money you make. He was there, him and somebody else. So they pulled me aside, said, he's the owner of Treasure Key. I said, so? What I got to do with me? He wants to speak with you. So eventually I went to speak to him. He asked me, where did I get that from? How did I learn to speak like that? I said, whatever I do, it usually comes from the heart. Well, he offered me a sweet deal. At the time, the cruise ship, Premier Cruise Line, a part of Disney, was going into where we call Baker's Bay today. He brought in 5,000 people a week on the beach of what is now Baker's Bay. It was Baker's Bay then, but they call it Treasure Island. And that was the most lucrative spot, blooming. Parasailing, swim with the dolphin was the big catch. Hobie cap, diving, glass bottom boat, shelling, everything was available there. Well, Meister saw leadership in me and he gave me the island. He said, Kai, I will give you the island for 4 days a week when the cruise ship is not there. I took it for 2 days and I took 100 person a day at Treasure Island. But this is what the catch. The catch was if you go on my boat, I will charge you $55 a person for as much as you could drink and much as you could eat. Meister supplied the food and the drinks. You imagine $55? You could drink $55 with drinks and food, especially if you got a big family. The only catch was that you had to pay $85 to swim with the dolphin. Everybody from Hopetown, Manawa, Green Turkey, wherever they're from, they could not go on Treasure Island, which is Baker's Bay today, unless they go on Admiral Kai Rainbow Runner tours back then. That was powerful. And with that, it created a lot of jealousy. I took home $5,000 a week from that trip right there. Big money brought big enemies. I had a guy by the name of Terrence Davis. He worked with me. Sometime we go to get ready to carry 100 people. They would have water in your gas. They will cut your spark plug. They will disable your steering. You go there and you put it in gear. There's no props on your engine. They tried to destroy me. I did that for 10 years. No other black person, no other Bahamians could have gone there. And it's a guy by the name of Lionel Evans tried to take it from me. And I was so proud of Meister call us in. And he told the manager of Treasure Key at the time, Lionel Evans, he said, I don't need anybody's money. I make enough money there. I offered Kai that deal, and if you, Lionel Evans, let anybody go on that island besides Kai, you're fired. It's Kai's deal, and it's Kai's deal as long as he wants. Wow, I felt so proud and strong. But eventually I give it up. Just like Baker's Bay. There's another powerful man. Many of y'all may know him, but I knew him way back then. Michael Melman. He saw favor in me, and he came and offered me a job at Baker's Bay. I told him, I don't need no job at Baker's Bay. I'm self-made. I'm a self-made man. I don't need Baker's Bay money. That was our first introduction. But he saw leadership in me, and he saw strength in me. So he came after me again. and asked me what would I work for part-time. I told him I would work for $60,000 part-time a year. He gave me the deal, and he also gave me another sweet deal. He said, go and find all the best workers in hotel in Abaco, in the tourist industry. I will give them twice as much as they're making today. You bring them to me. I went to them and I said to them, he said, twice as much. Don't start at twice as much. Go 3 times, sometimes 4 times as much. Since you got all this money, let's start at 4. You can't start to negotiate from low to high. Listen to Kai. They were afraid to move. Some of them today got their big house and proud and forgot where they came from, but Kai is the one that got them hired. I see him, some of them the other day, they don't want to speak to you, but now they're humble. Now they're not in that position of what they perceive to be power and senseless. They forgot how they got there. God has humbled all of them, but Kai had hired them. There was Kai Mills, Willis Lavarity, and Ron Lavarity. We were the 3 horsemen of Bakers Bay for years before anybody came in there. We were Mike's eyes and ears on the island. And my own made sure that I got fired from Bakers Bay. But Mike and I are still friends today. But that's giving you some insight of my leadership way back then. I'm a boatsman first. Snorkeling, scuba diving, fishing, anything that can do with the water. I can do it day or night with any compass. I don't need a compass. I got a built-in compass after 20 years of being on the water. Now I'm stuck in a taxi, but the water is my first love. And I've taken hundreds of people onto the water. And you see a lot of homeowners are here because of what Kai did back then. I will go from Greenhill Key, Treasure Key, Bakers Bay, Manawa, Hopetown, all the way to Little Harbor, Fowl Key Underwater Park, Sandy Key Underwater Park, deep sea fishing, bottom fishing. I did all of this within a week. Over 200 persons. You never ever were recognized by the tourist industry or the Seek Award givers or takers. That's because I speak out against what I perceive could make the industry better. It's one of these Kai cares, letting my 1,144 Facebook friends let you know of who I am and how far I've traveled in leadership and jealousy and hatred in Abaco. When you take a stand, a lot of people don't like your stand, but I shall and continue to take a stand for Abaconians and Bahamians, period. You're live with Kai on WCAY.